And the point we are making is that we are not defending anyone or against anyone. The narrative that we put out is favorable to Databank and favorable to Ken Ofori-Atta, the Minister of Finance, no doubt about that. But the narrative we put out was to tell our people that it is a case of conflict of interest. Now, we have checked the law in the United States and in Britain. They are fundamentally the same. If we think we don't want conflict of interest, we should prohibit it in Parliament. We should pass a law to prohibit it. We should pass a law to criminalize it. Right now, the remedial measures for conflict of interest is disclosure and recusal. That's all. So I put this out on our Facebook page on Sunday after the enormous assessment of all your text messages on your old students platform on our Facebook page about conflict of interest. It's as follows. I said, hey folks, thank you very much for your wide and diverse reaction to our editorial last Thursday, August 18, 2022. Reading most of the comments on our page and other platforms, we realized that people said we didn't say anything about the perceived conflict of interest. It continues. Our point is that as it is in Ghana today, the remedial measure prescribed by our legal regime for perceived conflict of interest situations is disclosure, one, and sometimes recusal of the official from the process that selects the company over which he or she, the official, has a beneficial interest. So that's it. So if I'm Paul Adom-Otchere, I'm official of the government, and I have a company called X Media, and X Media is involved in something relating to what the government is doing, to avoid the conflict of interest or to cure the conflict of interest or to remedy the conflict of interest, the remedial measure prescribed by the law is that I disclose my interest in X Media. In other areas, it is that I recuse myself from the conversations about X Media. If I sit on the chairman of the board of Company X, which is a state company, and my company is performing a service for that company, or my company is in the reckoning to perform a service, the remedial measures is that I disclose to the board that I have interest in this company. And if the matter comes, I take my file and I step out to recuse myself, allow the board members to do it. Is that enough or that is not enough? It's a decision that Ghanaians must take. But we cannot crucify people when they have not committed a crime, because it is perceived, it looks like that. So I proceed and I go on to give sort of real examples on our Facebook page. I say that, thus, the only remedial measure for Dr. Dufo to pass the vetting to be a finance minister, even though he has beneficial interest in banks and insurance companies over which he may make policies, is to declare his interest at the vetting and maybe promise the vetting committee to recuse himself when issues about these companies come up for decision at his desk. So the point I was making is that in 2009, the former governor of the Bank of Ghana was nominated by the president to be the Minister of Finance. The former governor of the Bank of Ghana also happened to have beneficial interest in banks and insurance companies. The Minister of Finance is the boss that presides over the financial sector, and he reviews all of those things, including banks and insurance companies. The perceived conflict of interest, or if you like, the potential conflict of interest situation arising out of one of the beneficial owners of banks to be the one to make the policy is clear. The remedial measure, as far as Ghana's laws are concerned, as far as laws in the United States are concerned, as far as laws in Britain are concerned, is that the official involved, Dr. Kwabena Dufo, will, before the appointments committee, disclose his interest in this bank, this insurance company, that insurance company. He will promise the vetting committee that when issues of such data come up, he will recuse himself. That's it. That's the story. That's the law that we have today. I don't know whether it's good or bad. That's what it is. It is the same in England, by the way. It is the same in the United States. Because there are reasons for that. If we prohibit that, then all state officials who have had a private life, so you're going to select an attorney general. I was discussing with my legal people today. You're going to select an attorney general. You want an experienced lawyer, Nana Akufo-Addo, Ayikwe Otu, Papa Owusu Ankoma, Godfrey Dame. You want an experience, show me which attorney general since independence had not had an effective practice before becoming attorney general. Joe Randolph. You can talk of only Martin Amidu, maybe him, but that's okay. I'm not going to talk about him today. But look at all the attorney generals we have had. Ian Moore. All these people had successful practice before they became attorney general. But so once he becomes attorney general, he has a beneficial interest in a law firm, almost always. Or if today, or sometimes they come from the academia, the dean of the faculty of law. So you pick the dean of the faculty of law and make him attorney general. Now he's going to preside over budget for the faculties of law in Accra, of Kumasi, and other places. Is he going to be biased in favor of the faculty of law? Most likely he may be. The remedial measure is for him to disclose that I was teaching at the Faculty of Law before for 25 years. And therefore, I recuse myself from this decision whether the $25 million should go to the Faculty of Law, Legon, where I was teaching, or should it go to the Faculty of Law, KNUST, where I was not teaching. I'm the Attorney General. It's my decision to make. I recuse myself. That's the remedial measure. It's a decision we have to take as a country. Should we prohibit it? Until we prohibit it, you cannot come and call people thieves. That's all I said. And then Pena that die. Oh my goodness. Let me not get into that. Okay, let me move on. Then I continue to say that it will be the same for Honorable Nanaya Okuntun Kununku, which is Ken Ofori-Atta, by the way, and same, and this is what they didn't like. I said, and same in the hypothetical case of Togbe Afede, if he were to be nominated by Nana Akufo-Addo as the next finance minister to replace Ken Ofori-Atta. Now, somebody sent me a text and said, why did you say in the hypothetical case? You should have said in the unlikely event. Well, you can choose the words. Now, this is the debate I talk about. He called me and said, what did you mean by the hypothetical case? You know that will never happen. I said, so what should I have said? So you should have said in the unlikely event. Okay, accepted. So let me replace it. In the unlikely event that Togbe Afede were nominated by Nana Akufo-Addo to replace Ken Ofori-Atta, all Togbe Afede would have needed to do at the vetting was to disclose his interest in strategic African securities, which does things with the government and therefore the Ministry of Finance. And if he has any other companies, to disclose himself, his interest in it. First of all, he has to leave the chieftaincy. Of course, that's basic. We know that. So that's the point we made, that this is the conflict of interest. And we put the thing here. He said, we are therefore asking all nation builders to determine if this is okay or if we shall outlaw conflict of interest and prohibit it. That's our call. Please understand our position. It is towards nation building and general decision making for the future of our country. So I'm expecting other media like Mr. Smart take this and deal with it on your show. If he can, I bet you he won't, because maybe this is too long. But take this and say, what was Paul Adom-Otchere talking about? Put his paragraph one there. What does he mean by the remedial measure? It's not true. Read the Constitution. The Constitution says this, that. Paul was wrong. That's the debate. But he just says that Paul Adom-Otchere is a fool. Oh, really? Okay, it's fine. But this is our point. This is the point we're making. So I'm sure the phone lines, text messages will be open, and people can deal with it. Let's go and take our first break.